out to watch Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Why would you want to be anywhere else on Earth at this moment? This is the place to be. The whole festival, of course, is just a great celebration of film, the kind of films we love. But one of the other great things about it is the people you meet over the course of the weekend. A man just came up and introduced himself, a man named David Ward. I'd never met him before. He's a lifelong theater manager. He once managed this theater. Well, guess what? He also managed the Carthay Circle Theater when Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs opened. And had his famous premiere there, ran there for a year with a big courtyard exhibit. So, David, thank you for introducing yourself, and thank you for coming today. It's great to have you. That's called serendipity, right? And, gee, I think I recognize someone here. Madam, would you come up and just take a moment here and say hello to everybody? This is Marge Champion. Movement and dancing, which she's still fully capable of doing right this moment. When she was just a teenager attending Hollywood High School, and that's how they created such wonderful, lifelike movement to Snow White, especially with the dancing scene.
Thank you so much. It's nice to be home again. I was born on Orange Drive, between Fountain and Long Creek. So this looks very familiar. I watched it grow up. Thank you so much.
I'm helping Marge at her seat because I'm trying to be a gentleman, but she walks better than I do. Dancers. That's dancers for you. Well, we have a wonderful treat today on top of this screening of the new restoration on this giant screen. And by the way, the size of the screen here at the Egyptian just always blows me away, because we get so accustomed to watching films at home on DVD and on other means of delivery now, downloading and video on demand. That's all great. It's a wonderful convenience. But it's so wonderful not just to see them on a screen, but to see them on a huge screen. And that's the way movie palaces were built back in that day. And you just get to see more of the film and appreciate it all the more. Well, there's someone here today who loves this movie, names it as her favorite movie. Now, if you don't believe in fate or serendipity, I challenge you to find a better example than this. The young lady who is now playing Snow White on the ABC series Once Upon a Time is a lifelong Disney fan and is crazy about Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Please say hello to Ginnifer Goodwin. Welcome.
Well, thank you for having me.
We're delighted to have you here. I mean, did you get a call? Did you actually get a phone call or an email saying they'd like you to play Snow White?
I did. I got a phone call. I was driving and I think I almost had an accident. And the first thing I was told was that there was this script by Edward Kitsis and Adam Horowitz. And I was already hooked because I was a geeky fan of theirs. And then I was told I was being asked to play 2 roles on a new television series, and one of those roles was Snow White. And I said, I'll take it. And my rep said, you need to read the script first. And I said, no, really, I'll take it. And I did read the script, but I took it on the spot.
So, just give us a little history of your Disney fandom. I mean, do you remember how old you were when you first encountered Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs?
I don't. My sister, Melissa, is in the audience, and she's actually an animator because of Disney feature films. She's the one who really, I think, ignited my passion for the Disney feature films. But our mother raised us on these movies, and Snow White was always a favorite, probably for very superficial reasons, like she's a brunette, and I was a child, and so I could relate to that. But, you know, as I grew older and learned a lot more about Walt Disney and what he did for entertainment, and I truly think of him as the Steve Jobs of storytelling. I really fell in love with the movie on a whole new level as an adult, but I don't remember when it began, because I was always watching these movies.
That's just it for so many of us. It's just been lifelong. Yeah, it's something that's there from cradle on.
Yes.
And continues from generation to generation.
Oh, yes.
Now, have you gotten the chance ever, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but have you ever seen it on big screen?
I have, because I actually go to the El Capitan every time they release.
Okay, I told you she was a real thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and I also go with, now that D23 has that relationship with the ArcLight. Yes, I've gone to see their screen.
Great, great. And it is a different experience, isn't it?
Absolutely, it's the way it's meant to be seen.
When you started playing this character, you played dual character.
Yes.
Once upon a time. I mean, can you give us some sense of how you prepared for this role? I mean, one of the things about this Snow White, and of course there have been many interpretations of the character over the centuries, I guess,
Yes.
is that she really is absolutely pure and innocent. She's
Yes.
innocent of heart.
Yes.
And how do you see her?
Well, I certainly see her as completely pure and completely innocent in this incarnation. But what we did in creating the series, we figured that we needed to explore some darker sides. We needed to sort of exploit some flaws. And we felt that that would make the character more relatable, which was very important to us. And we're all very flawed. None of us can really be Snow White. So I think the idea was, what if Snow White was a very real human? And over time, there are, what if the story that Walt Disney was telling was based on this woman, and through a sort of game of telephone, over time, the story morphs itself into this very pure thing. So what we did was a little, a little more modern, a little darker in some ways. And so what I did in preparing was, other than watching every version of Snow White under the sun, and this one still rules, I read a lot, and not just the various versions of the story, but I read a lot of critical analyses of what the story was supposed to be doing. They were all cautionary tales, these fairy tales. And so I was trying to get to I was trying to find the nugget in there. What is it that this story is at its base? And it's a story about vanity. And it's not just the evil queen's vanity, it's Snow White's vanity, because she can't deny, the corset laces, the stay laces, or the beautiful comb, as are described in the Grimm's version. She can't resist the beautiful apple. And I really liked that idea that we explore that vanity. And so that was the thing I really latched onto. But then I honestly watched this version of Snow White. I don't even know what I was doing. But I was making lists. I was like, all right, she's obsessed with cleaning. Does she have OCD? What is this relationship with animals? I feel like she definitely worked for the Humane Society today. But I really did try to pick it apart. But I don't know, it's not one that should be picked apart. It's pure, and it's beautiful, and it's magical.
Absolutely. This, of course, was Walt Disney's first feature-length film. It was such an incredible, ambitious, and some would at the time call it foolish endeavor. And Disney's folly, they call it, who's going to want to see a feature-length cartoon? And he, of course, had the last laugh many times over. But is there one ingredient in the film that appeals to you the most, or is there one scene that you cherish above any other?
Oh my gosh. I think it's just all of it together. The fact that the comedy really is funny. And the tragedy really is heartbreaking. And my favorite scene, though, I think, is the scene in which she's singing in the well and she's busted by the prince. And her youth really shows her running off terrified. I think that's probably the one that I like the most.
Well, that's a lovely scene. I think about today, most recently, just a few weeks ago, the cast of The Hunger Games were doing a national tour, to get to meet the fans and build interest and excitement for that movie. And of course, Walt Disney just did everything before everybody else.
Oh my gosh.
And in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, as most of you know, especially all of you diehard Disney fans, they had those songs playing already on the radio, and sheet music, which was a big component of American life in the mid-century, because people had their pianos in the parlor, and they would buy the sheet music, having heard the songs on the radio. So before the movie even played at the local theater, people were humming and singing these songs. They're such a big part of the movie. It means so much to the film. And I don't think we need to say much else, do you? I think we should show Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and thank Ginnifer Goodwin.